Hey, friend. Hi, everybody. Just getting set. And I will wait for Brie. There's Brie. Okay, she is right on time. There we go. Uh-oh. I lost you, Brie. Da, da, da. There we go. That was
Hello.
easy,
Yeah, this is amazing. I love when technology works.
right? Hi, Emery.
Yeah.
Hi, Carl.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Was really looking forward to talking to you today.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. I'm just trying to pin the share the mic now hashtag.
You're so technologically advanced. I
Oh,
can't believe
girl,
it.
I'm pretending. Let me see.
So I
Uh,
did I wrote down some questions. I also knew from the live yesterday that did you get to all of the questions that you wanted to get to
I
or
didn't get to all of them, but that's fine. Let's just let's kick off. Let's talk.
cool. So one of the things that I saw over and over again in the comments, and it's pretty much exactly what I would ask. It's something that a lot of my friends too are asking me, which is what are the ways to get involved as a non-POC? And are there ways to get involved that are not just like is the most important thing financial donations, signing petitions? Are there other things that you see that people can do, maybe people who don't have the money to donate and still want to support the cause?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is people need to establish what cause they're supporting, right? The Black experience is layered and nuanced, and there are many things that adversely affect Black people. And so, if you're upset or your cause is around police brutality, then you should address police brutality, right? Whether it's protesting or you are writing to your mayor or your local dignitary or representative, um, how you're voting. It all depends again what you want to deal with, because there are many things. Are you addressing inequity in your workplace? Are you highlighting that? Um, you can donate to many a cause, whether it's Black Lives Matter. It depends on what we're talking about. It's not
Mm-hmm.
just one thing. There are many things. Um, so we would have to get a little bit more granular in terms of how people can support. But I think at this stage there's a lot of information. And what I'll do is I'm going to send you a PDF that you can pin to your profile so that people can download ways that they can help.
Oh, awesome. Great. Great. Yeah, one of the things that I've loved about this moment, is that there are these larger ways that people can show their support, but then I also love seeing people taking the time to look at their own communities, where they work. Um, and those are not necessarily like hashtags, but
Correct.
it's really important work.
Correct. I mean, how are you treating your local whoever, right? With the businesses that you interact with the people that you see on a daily basis, when you're walking your dog in the park, how are you behaving, right? All of these things are relevant. It's not just about a specific hashtag, a person that's been murdered by the police. I mean, there are many things, and so there should be a lot of introspection and reflection right now in terms of our own humanity and how we offer dignity as it relates to Black people.
Yeah. Yeah.
How are you feeling post yesterday? How did you were you watching from the sidelines? How are you feeling? How did you feel about yesterday?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I mean, and you know that like the hardest part for me was just wanting to step in and protect you, and you being like, I'm good. I'll let you know if I need something.
Yeah.
That was the hardest part. Is, we had talked before and I said, I'm going to monitor the comments. And I didn't tell you, it wasn't just me. It was going to be like my publicist and my assistant. And we were all going to
Yeah.
be there. And you were like, I'll let you know if I'm overwhelmed, but it's
Yeah.
important that it comes up.
Yeah, for me, and so I'm really trying to multitask here. It's not really working. Okay, there we go. For me, it wasn't a matter of this is every day, quite frankly. And I think that we need to be honest, and we need to identify people who cause trouble and like who are trash. There's a lot of trash behavior out here. And I think that far too often as Black people, because we're used to it, it's kind of like, oh, but I addressed it, you know what I mean? And other people saw, and so they know, like, oh my goodness, this is what you have to deal with. Yes, all the time, in many different instances and iterances. And so I think it behooves all of us, Black, white, whoever, to identify bad behavior. We need to call it out, right? In the same way that we identify bad behavior as it relates to Me Too. And you know what I mean? Like a multitude of issues. Let's do it here.
Yeah. It was amazing to see how much grace you held in that moment too, where you were just like, you have other options. And, you know, I deal with people saying not nice things to me on the internet, and I can't say that I've held the grace that you have. And so I learned a lot in that moment. And so thank you for holding space in that way. Yeah. I learned a lot yesterday.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think, look, everybody has their breaking point. And what you're seeing right now is a collective breaking point amongst Black people where we're saying enough is enough. Mm-hmm. I held grace because I was not at my house. If somebody came to my house and acted up, it might be a very different story. Mm-hmm. This is what we have to recognize. Is like, I was at Brie's house, so I got to respect Brie's, you know, I got to respect your space. I can't turn up too much, but we're at my house now. So, you know, if we have problems, I have security. They'll take care of them. But it's just like, it's that notion that, again, this is why we have to educate people about what is and isn't acceptable, because you're gonna do that to the wrong person, and it's not gonna be good for you.
Yeah. I loved your superhero recommendation too.
Yes. I hope she's watching.
Me too.
If you're out here, see, Brie is saying she's down.
Not only me, but you didn't see how many DMs I got afterwards from people being like, "Oh my God, yes, amazing."
Well, Marvel Studios, if you're listening, preciously, just get with me and we'll make it happen. This is really easy. Between me and Brie, we can make something happen.
So how was yesterday for you? Like, was there anything to report?
Surprisingly good. Like, I tend to operate behind the scenes. I'm not typically the one that's in front of the camera. So I'm around all the people doing all the things and the glitz, glamour, and the lights, camera, action, but I tend to be behind the scenes. And so for me, this was very much being in front of the camera, being very open, having, very prominent conversation. So it was a little bit unnerving. You have a lot of followers, and they were quite active and very busy. And I wanted to take the time to acknowledge them. I wanted to try to respond to everybody. Of course, I couldn't, because I was participating in this campaign, and I was also working my day job. So I'm on conference calls. I'm in, Zoom and Teams meetings and WebExes, and I'm just like, I'm trying to multitask. And I also wanted to be very deliberate in what I did within your space. I wanted to make sure that the things that I was posting, whether it was on your feed or in your live, were very, very, that they had meaning, and that they would resonate, and that people would actually take time and be like, oh, she's saying something here. We need to check our behavior. We need to educate ourselves. We need to recognize that there are a lot of stupid people out here that are mimicking a murder as if it's a joke. I mean, it's just trash. And I also, in going through the process, as I explained on your page, the rules stated that after you had your introduction, that we should then introduce ourselves. And I'm a little bit of a rule breaker, not all the time, and within the guardrails, nothing that's going to get me in trouble. But I felt like, no, it's okay. It's okay that a Black woman is on your page and people don't know. It's the same way that a Black woman might show up in your neighborhood, or might show up in a store that you're not used to seeing them, or might be in a position that you don't think that a Black woman should hold because you've never seen a Black woman in that position. But here we are, and here I am, and you're going to respect me because I command that. And if you don't, then I'm going to teach you how it needs to be done, not only for myself, but for every other Black woman that you ever encounter. Like, this is the way, this is the standard. We don't accept anything less. And so after I went through the process of hanging out, and, you know, I'm a very jovial person, and I like things to be lighthearted at times. And so I put that one video about the Avengers, you know, highlighting what's going on right now, because I thought it was apropos given what's going on, and the fact that Captain Marvel, and I mean, the reactions, I mean, people were engaged. The engagement was quite high. So I was like, okay, I'm on the right track here. And then, you know, I went live, and then I was like, okay, now I'm ready. Now I can introduce myself to you, because to that end, look, today I'm done up because I knew I was meeting with you. Some days it doesn't look like this. Some days I'm in a hoodie, and some days I'm in ripped jeans, and some days I might have cut off shorts, and like, but I'm still me. And my expectation is that you're going to respect me as a human being, as a person, period, full stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I loved it so much. And then the photo you post at the end is just so powerful.
Oh,
Your
thank
intro.
you.
Oh my gosh. I was like cheering on my couch and like, oh my God, what a lesson in like being a queen. It was just like, you know, I do suffer from apologizing for myself and like not fully owning my space. And so to watch you own the space, and you're absolutely right. Like, you're absolutely right that you're a human being. So
Yes.
none of the rest matters. None of the
Yes.
rest matters. The resume does not matter. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean anything.
It means absolutely nothing. I could have been less than, or I could have been in very dire situations just last week. You have no clue. Life can change like this, especially now with the advent of the internet, right? It's like we have a lot of internet celebrities that like nobody knew about, and it's just like, oh, I heard that person sing, and now they're famous. And so it's just that, is that like, as a child growing up, my mother would tell me all 5 fingers are not equal on your hand, but each of them serves a function. And that's the way that I like to look at humanity. It's like, just because a person is short, or just because a person is whatever, insert, you know, whatever it is, does not make them less than. That doesn't mean that they don't have a function, you know, in life. You know, if I got rid of your index finger, you know what I mean? It serves a purpose, right? Like, if I got rid of your pinky, it serves a purpose. Every finger on your hand serves a purpose, irrespective of it's your fat thumb or your, you know, your long pinky, whatever it is, you know. And so I think that that's the way that we need to approach life, in that our interactions with people that we don't know, or don't look like us, or didn't go to the school that we went to, or don't speak like us, what does that matter?
Yeah. 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 It's like what we've talked about. And it's the thing that's been ringing through my head so much recently, is just, there's no throwaway person. There's no throwaway people. And I feel that that's being, it's so many of us are screaming into the void right now, and what has felt like a long time of screaming into the void, in regards to Black Lives Matter.
Yeah. The thing is we're actually the majority, and you know, it's just like, we got to stop. We have the power. Like, they are the minority, and yet here we are acting less than. Why? For what purpose? Yeah. Right? Yeah. And these same people, it's like, when you call them out, it's like all of a sudden, like, oh, who, me? I'm not a racist. That's a bad word. But, well, that's what you are. That's a bad word, and you're a bad person. So, you know, get right or get left. This is where we are, right? It's like, either you're going to come and join us and be on this, get on this train, or you're going to get left.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a very lonely existence. And we need to not apologize for that.
Yeah. I'm wondering too, where does like education, like historical education, like where does that fit in for you with, you know, for white people who want to unlearn these bad behaviors? Because there's been
education. Well, I mean,
I just mean the fact that like in schools so much, like, the truth is not told. And
yes.
You know, and I'm even in this week in what I've read and learned, I can't believe how much I don't know and how much I didn't understand before. And so I'm wondering if it feels like from even having conversations with like Brian Stevenson, like he believes that that's a huge part of this. So I'm bringing it up because a lot of people are like, where do I begin? And I feel like some of it is like, learn your history, like learn where we came from to understand why we are here today.
Absolutely. So I'm going to say two things on this. Do you feel that everything that you've learned in life, you learned in school?
No.
Okay, so there's one, right? So we have an onus on ourselves to educate, right? Let's just like find out, because we know the construct of this country in particular is that of oppression and that of racism. The foundation of it is that, right? And so our systems are based on that. And if you are aware enough to say racism and oppression and all the other isms exist, how do I start to change my behavior? Where are the places that I can go? And again, the internet is free, so we can start there. Mm-hmm. And then secondly, I think in terms of education, we need to examine how we topple that too. Mm-hmm. Because our education system is based on a very, very archaic model that only teaches one side. And the one side is rife with lies. Lots and lots and lots of lies. Right? That project an image of perfection for some, and everybody else be damned. They fall by the wayside. And the reality is like, we know better because we also know from our interactions. And that's why you get like, wow, you're so much nicer than I expected, or you're so much more smarter. And while that's insulting, very, so don't say that to people, keep that thought in your head. It should make you question the status quo. That's how we evolve.
Yeah, question the bias.
Right? Because if we want to stay in what was, there were a lot of people that look a certain way that wouldn't bathe. They wouldn't shower. Right? But because we are more knowledgeable and we are more aware, people shower. They you know what I'm saying? They bathe, hopefully, every day, maybe twice a day. So in that respect, it's like, again, it's like, if you know better, do better. We cannot rely on that, like, oh, well, this is what I learned in school. I learned a lot of things in school that I don't apply to my daily life at all.
Yes.
Right?
I remember that from our call. It was just like, it was so simple when you said it to me. It was like, we didn't know we had to brush our teeth before, and now we do. So do better. And I was like, oh. That's
it. Yeah, I think we tend to make this a lot more difficult than it needs to be, honestly. I'm like, and that's why I talked about the golden rule yesterday, in that you treat others the way that you want to be treated. And if you look across most organized religions, like that, if there's one thing that they agree on, it's that. It's right. It's like, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, or treat, I mean, many different iterations. And so if we start there, if we just start there at the base level, like, I don't know anything, I can't read, I don't have the internet, whatever it is, if you're watching this, treat other people the way that you want to be treated. And if you start there, we are leaps and bounds ahead of where we are today. Start by doing the work with yourself, because there's a lot of like, well, that person, and pointing. Start with yourself, right? If you can, if you can make a commitment to being a better person, that's one. And then if you can make a commitment to calling out the trash behavior, hey, we're ready. You know what I mean? We are in a much better position. But it's like, with the reckoning that's happening right now, all of a sudden it's the whispers like, well, I always thought that, Lisa was an Amy Cooper. It's like, don't tell me that. I don't want to hear that. So it's like, you knew and you saw the way that she was acting and you did nothing about it. You're complicit. This encourages that type of behavior. You are essentially saying that it is okay, and it's not. We got to call it out every single time. And look, it doesn't have to be performative, because there's a lot of performative behavior happening right now, right? I don't need anybody to wear African garb. I don't need that. It's unnecessary, right? Like, it's not what's required of anyone. I don't need you to take a trip to Africa. I don't need you to sponsor a child, or whatever it is that you feel that makes you closer. Do better. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was so amazing when we first talked and you were saying this to me. It made me laugh because it's just there's so much like, and it's all distraction, and you're right, it's all performative, and it's like these gestures that are just, it's really simple. And when you boil it down to that, to the golden rule, and to the simple way that you put it, it takes all the excuse out, it takes all the defensive-ness out, and it's just like, we're here and this is what it is.
Yeah, we're here.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So thank you. I mean, that was from our initial, that's not even about yesterday. That was just our initial conversation. And I was like, I felt so grounded and clear afterwards because I was feeling a lot of anxiety about what allyship looks like, what my piece is in it, and fearful that I wasn't doing it right, wasn't doing it enough, that my actions were going to hurt someone. And so to hear it so plainly put was just, it's just so clear. And I feel like all the other stuff that I do and will do is important, but really the golden rule is just like the baseline. It's just where I have to come from. And then I can do all of the other actionable things, but it has to come from there.
Yeah, like for me, and I've said this often and I'll continue to say this, I'm not a black expert. I don't have a degree in black. I just know about me. I know about myself, right? I can speak to me and my existence. Black, first of all, we're not a monolithic group. We're not all the same, period. So my experience is very different from the next Black person beside me. And we could have grown up in the exact same household, quite frankly. Right. And so, there are a lot of people running around asking questions. Look, some people aren't even aware that they are being oppressed. So you're asking the question of the wrong person. Right. And that's why I say, like, it comes back to you. What do you need to do to be better, just to be a better human being? Like, stop asking all these questions. And I think for you and for anybody else, in terms of feeling guilty, if you didn't do anything wrong, then you have nothing to feel guilty about, period. Right? You can feel empathetic, but you don't need to feel guilty unless you've done something wrong. Then, you need to confess to whoever you need to confess to, but that's between you and your whoever, your spirits, your God, your friends, your family, the person that you might have made upset or done something to. But again, in recognizing that, then do better, right? Because don't put that guilt on anybody else. Like, well, I didn't do this and I didn't do that. Okay, that's you. That's not me. That's not for me to carry. I don't want your bag, right? Like the bag that I'm carrying is heavy enough. I don't want yours, right? And these are some of the things that we need to talk about. And these are the things that we need to be clear about, that it's like, there are a lot of people asking a lot of questions. And if you are the sole Black person at your job, I happen not to be, but there are many who are the sole Black person in your department, then you're being asked a lot of questions by everybody. And it's just like, hey guys, read a book. Read a book. And like,
a lot of books too.
but also I can't explain to you what it's like to be Black. Just like you can't explain to me what it's like to be white, because you're not Black. You're not Black. So even as much as I tell you this, that, and the other, there are things that are very nuanced and very layered and very, very slight. And you will never, 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 never understand. Just like if you were speaking to a man, he can't understand your existence as a woman because he's not a woman. That's it. That's it. That's all. Right? Like, it's just, I think our expectations are out of whack as it relates to all of this Black knowledge that people want to acquire. There is nobody Black that can create a Black experience for you, even if you put on blackface, which you should not. You're never going to be, and you need to accept that. Just like if you're, you know what I mean? Like it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. So then like what's left is treat others the way you want to be treated. I mean, that to me, as you say that, is like the closest we can get to a united experience where that we can like agree upon the same reality. I think that's what's crazy making about some of this, is it's like fighting against other people's realities.
It's so uncomplicated. Like when I see, I there were questions in the feed around all lives matter. Okay, cool. But what offends you about Black people saying we're being oppressed, we're being treated poorly? Let me remind you that Black Lives Matter. And it's like, oh, I'm offended. Why? That's a question that you need to ask yourself. Like, why does this bother me?
Yeah.
Right? Could it be that the systems in place suggest that white lives are better than Black lives? And so if somebody tries to challenge the system in place by saying Black Lives Matter, it's like, oh my God. You know what I mean? And it's just like, honestly, get it together.
I listened to Future posted on Instagram just one of the most beautiful speeches, I guess is what I would call it, I've ever listened to. But in it, Future said, Black Lives Matter, it's actually very soft. And oh, it got me. Just the beauty of the phrase Black Lives Matter and the tenderness in it, and how people fighting those realities are putting a lot of violence and aggression and pain and like fear in it when it's just a celebration and it's beautiful.
I mean, can you imagine, you know, if we addressed all of the issues that Black people had by doing the same thing to others that have been done to us? Can you imagine? Right? Can like, let's ask the question. If you're white and somebody gave you the choice of being Black or white, if you were arrested by the police, what would you choose?
Mm-hmm.
You know the answer. So inherent in that is an inherent understanding that there's a different treatment of Black people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it can't just be a celebration of sport. And I love that athlete, and Michael Jordan is my favorite. But yet, if LeBron says something about Black lives, you tell him to shut up and dribble. Why? You own him? Does he belong to you? Is he your property? Right? It's disgusting, and we need to check the behavior. Period.
Yes. And within that, you're saying it's up to all of us. I mean,
everybody.
It's up to white people
to
go, no, that's not welcome here.
Correct. Yes, because there was a question around like, well, I'm white, and I guess that's for them, or that's for Black people. How? Why?
Wait, what? Can you explain the question?
They feel like
Black lives for Black people?
Yeah. They feel like Black Lives Matter, because they're white, they're unable to participate. And it's not a Black club. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to have Black skin to get into Black Lives Matter. It's not a club. It's actually quite sad that I should have to tell you basic humanity about how to treat me. You know what I mean? And so the onus is on you to let everybody. I want to get to a place where we never have to say Black Lives Matter. That's what I want to get to. Right? I want to get to a place where it never has to be printed on the street in front of the White House, so that the person in charge recognizes or can acknowledge. That's crazy. That's crazy. And that's the thing. It's like, I want us to really just get down to the base level and look at some of the things that we're talking about, some of the things that are happening. It's just, I'm incredulous, because we are smarter than this as people. We are smarter than, most of us are smarter than this. But we have to acknowledge willful ignorance. It's like, oh, let me put on my, no, I don't. What are you talking about? It's always been this way. Why are they? What's changed? Black people have always been killed. Why now? Because enough is enough. That's why. Enough is enough. So tell a friend, we're not having it. And neither should you.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. I can definitely be stronger in my voice than I am currently. Like I feel clear, but I feel like I can be clearer. And so thank you for that.
Yeah, I don't think that the thing is like, let's talk about John Boyega, my Nigerian brother, who is out there on the front lines in London saying, look, enough is enough. We're not having this. And to have to fear for your job because you want to bring light to the value of your life. Can you imagine? Like, can you reconcile that? That's crazy. That's
crazy.
insane. It's insane, right? But his choice is that, you know what? If it's between my life and Black people around the world, I'm choosing that than any job that you can give me. And everybody who works in Hollywood should get behind that man. Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It shouldn't be a question of just the Black people. It should be everybody to say, like, what are you talking about? Of course. You can have any job you want. And that's the same for you, is that if you support Black Lives Matter, it shouldn't be like, oh, well, Brie's a little bit too political. It's not political. She's human. Right? And so forget anybody who says, well, we're not going to work with Brie. Guess what? We as consumers aren't going to work with them. We're not going to give them our money.
Yes.
Right? So they can kick
Yes.
rocks. That's what it needs to be about. We have the power.
Rocks.
And we need to stop relinquishing our power. We are in charge. Do you see what's happening? I mean, look, things are being toppled. People are being taken down. And so it's like, look, if they don't get it together, they're gonna have to leave it alone. And that's what's happening. It's like, oh my God, what? Yeah. It's like, wake up. And that doesn't mean that like it's gonna be perfection. We're not stupid, right? What we need to recognize is the work needs to be done. It needs to be done now. It's not the promise of like, oh, we'll get that next year, or, you know, with the next president. No, now, today, right now. We're not waiting anymore, right? Call it out. We see it. That's why we have what we have currently, because it's like, well, I got to vote the way my dad and my brother vote. No, we got to be independent thinkers. When you go behind that ballot box and tick whatever you tick, nobody sees you, or they shouldn't. So do what's best. Do what makes sense. Not because, oh, it's always been this way. And like, let's also dispel the Republican versus Democrat. Not all Democrats are Black. Most of us are, but that's because of a function of this country, right? And a function of the divisiveness that is happening right now. Mm-hmm. You could be a Republican and be like, this behavior is trash. Black Lives Matter.
Right.
There is nothing wrong with that.
Right.
So we need to get beyond. Black Lives Matter is not political by any stretch of the imagination.
Right. Right. And I think that with that, it's once again reinforcing this like othering mentality of, say you're a Republican and then it's become this propaganda that it's a Democratic issue or a Democratic stance, that then it's like, oh, well, I lose something if I support that. I lose whatever that is. And then it's still white supremacy, self-preservation. It's still that. And
Correct.
That's so interesting and sad and hard to see, just the amount of self-protection that white people have at their disposal to not see what's happening.
Correct.
And how all of these systems are perfectly working in this like horrible symphony to make it so that you never have to look at it. And then I promise you, so if there are people that are listening right now that don't know what it is that I'm talking about, once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And it will infuriate you. And I'm so excited for you to join in this fight because we need you. Like, yeah. I just feel that. I feel that so deeply. Like, see it. Like, you gotta look at it.
Yeah. I mean, it's here. It's in your face. It's been here all along, right? It's been here all along. It's not like, oh my God, all of a sudden. And you know, we talk about the advent of smartphones and the fact that, you know, maybe we're seeing it a little bit more prominently. But for those of us who are Black, we're like, yeah, mm-hmm. Just another day, right? So for the rest of you guys who are catching up, catch up and pull up. Do something. Say something. Take action, right? Don't just sit on and then be upset. Like, oh my God, they're looting. You should be lucky that that's all they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. That Black people are looking for equality and not revenge.
I mean, look, some of the people looting are white. Let's just be very clear.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But yes, equality is the least that we can ask for. Again, Black Lives Matter. It's very simple, mm-hmm. right? Nobody's saying, like, we're going to make all the white people slaves. Nobody's saying that. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just like, I want to understand what the unrest is. Like, what makes you so upset about Black people being equal? Why does that bother you? That's what we need to check.
Mm-hmm. And you feel like that's just like everybody needs to, or white people need to, like,
check your mama, your
yeah,
daddy,
sit
your
in that and
cousin,
go, why?
everybody. Ask them.
Yeah.
Right? Because the conversations happen. Like, let's be real about this. It's like, well, I mean, they just seem so angry. Angry is the least that they are, right? They're tired. They're exhausted. Right? It's just like, no, this can't be right, because it wouldn't be right for you. So why should it be right for them? What makes them less than with all their glory? Like, I mean, I'm glad I have the confidence that I have, but who's going to tell me that I'm less than? Nobody.
Mm. 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 Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your platform. I mean, look, these are the conversations that we need to have, and they're not easy conversations to have. I said this, I think, yesterday. It's like, you think this is comfortable for Black people? It's not. It's not. To have to explain your worthiness. Can you imagine having to do that every single day? I'm worth it. I'm not a L'Oreal campaign. No. It's got to stop. And this is like, we got to, what you're feeling is passion. I'm very passionate about this. And we all need to be equally as passionate about this. It's got to stop. And we can't be passive. We have to be very deliberate in what it is that we're saying, what it is that we're doing. And we got to call people out, and it's going to be painful, but it has to happen. Right? And it might be some of your family members, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because some of your family members, when it came to Me Too, were like, well, what was she wearing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You got to check them the same way.
Mm-hmm.
The same energy you had for Me Too and all the other things that you've had energy for, have energy for this.
Mm-hmm.
Because the existence of this country depends on it. It was built on the backs of Black people.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Full stop. And like, that's not conjecture, that's fact. That is real. And so we don't need people washing Black people's feet and some of the other things that is ridiculous. It's nonsensical, right? Just be better, period. Like, and if that's too much to ask, again, you got to check yourself. You got to have that conversation with somebody else. I don't know what to tell you. If that's too hard of an ask for you to be a better person, that's on you, not on me.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, that answers as well. I mean, it totally flows into anybody listening who is like, oh, I don't want to have that tough conversation with my family member, or is like, it's got to get real.
I don't want to have that tough conversation when a white woman clutches her purse when I get in the elevator. I don't want to have that tough conversation when I step into a building and it's like, are you sure that you live here? Do I look like I'm confused? I don't want to have that tough conversation when people say, wow, you're so well spoken. Why wouldn't I be? Right? I don't want to have a tough conversation ever again. I don't want people to be stupid. Right? I don't want them to be willfully obtuse. I don't want them to be willfully blind. There's a lot of things that I don't want. And so, again, if we're going to do this, if we are going to do this, then everybody needs to be accountable. Everybody, get involved. Get involved. We can no longer continue in the way that we have. Enough is enough. We are tired. We're tired. And you should be too, right? The same way I was like, oh my God, another hashtag. What are they complaining about? Guess what? If we fix this, there will be no complaining. No more hashtags.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And this is possible.
It is possible.
Yeah.
It is possible. And like, I don't want to hear from another white person that they voted for Obama. So what? He was the best candidate. Okay? You voted for him. Great. Did you support him when there were a lot of people that didn't look like him, that treated him like trash, that said bad things about him? Oh, I voted for him. Huh? My report card on Black things is done. No, it doesn't end. It's continuous. Just like it's continuous for all of us, the work doesn't end. It's constant.
Yeah.
It's constant. Right? Like, and I don't want to equate the two, but like when people have problems, they're put into programs. We need to get on our program and just we got to stick at it one day at a time. Keep going. All right, I'm gonna do better today than I did yesterday. Let's keep going. But like we got to get on the program.
Yeah. Yeah. First, got to get on the program and then stay
on the program.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's not about just signing your one petition and then being like, I did it.
We're talking about your one Black friend. Do you want a prize? Should I give you a cookie?
Right.
Like, what does that do for me? I don't go touting my white friends. Here's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand that logic. Why? Why does it matter? Maybe you have no Black friends. That's okay too. You don't have to. You don't have to. Like who you like, be who you want to be, you know, be with who you want to be with. Just be decent and treat people with dignity.
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, that heavy side, girl, that's every day. Every day. Every day. It is hard work. It is hard work. Like, I don't want to make light of it. It is hard work, but we've got to do it. What choice do we have? Continue as we are? A hashtag every week? No. No, it can't be that. Like, that is not the answer. It is not. And we don't want that, quite frankly.
Yeah. It's not even like every day. It's like every moment of the day, you know? It's not just like, oh, I have a bad experience once a day, which is horrific to hear. Yeah. But it's like I'm in my body all the time and my experience is inhumane.
I mean, like, do you recognize that's like, it's like, do you recognize the trauma of just existing? That's like, let's talk about the journey to the office. You get up, maybe you get down, you take the elevator down, or you come out of your nice house and people are looking like, ooh, who's this person? Why are they here? They don't fit the mold of who I expect to be here. And you're like, okay. You wave and people maybe give you strange looks. They might even call 911 because you're not supposed to be there. Then you make your journey to work. Let's say you get on the train. Somebody moves away from you. Or you get in your car and somebody might flip you off just because you don't look like them. Or cut you off or wonder, why is that person in that nice car? And then maybe you get pulled over. And somebody asks you for your license and registration. You want to know why you've been pulled over. And before you get to talking, your hands are either on the steering wheel or they're out the window so that nothing happens to you. Right? And then you pull up to the office and you get in the elevator and somebody is like, I'll take the next one. And you're thinking, maybe they're claustrophobic. And then that person, you know, maybe another group, oh, we'll take the next one. Or somebody gets in and they stand to the side with their purse like you're going to do something to them. And then you get to the office, right? This is every single day, Monday to Friday. That's your experience. And you can imagine on the weekend, oh, don't go have brunch in the wrong place, right? Or have somebody ask you if you're married to a basketball player. Why? Why would you ask that? Don't pull up to the country club. You know what I mean? Somebody might ask you to go get them something like you work there. Every single day. And again, I'm speaking very broadly, but I want to drive home the point that these are the things that happen. So the work that is required is not on us. I'm just Black. I'm just out here being Black and beautiful and existing. Here I am having my good time. You're bothered. Check yourself. Why are you so bothered? Because I'm out here unbothered and unapologetic in my Blackness. You're the one who's got the issue. So you got to deal. You got to ask yourself why you would assume that something so great, I need somebody else to make me who I am. No, I'm great just being me. You see me? Maybe you should get to know me. Maybe I can help you out. Maybe I can make your life better. It can't just be the athletes and the people who are musicians that we like, and we only like them when they're performing. It feels a little slave-like. We don't like that. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a lot. Yeah. And it's like, if we're going to have this conversation, let's have it. But there are a lot of things. And it's, oh, why can't they just get over it? Why can't you just get over it?
And do the work.
It's the same question back to you. Why can't you just get over it? Why don't you get over it? Get over the fact that America is changing. Black, Hispanic, Asian, we're out here. And we're going to continue to have a good time. So again, it's like, it's up to you. You either going to get with us, have a good time, or you're going to be over here alone, miserable. And nobody wants to talk to you. We're not interested in being around miserable people.
Yeah. It's so simple.
It's not complicated. It really isn't. I mean, I'm not trying to minimize the work that needs to be done, but it's just like, again, start with yourself.
It doesn't sound to me like you're minimizing it at all. I mean, it just, like I said earlier, it just takes the fight out of it. It takes the defense out of it.
The defense, though, seems to be, it's like people want Black people to defend why they're doing what they're doing or why they're saying what they're saying. I'm not doing that. I'm not going back and forth with you about that.
Right.
I don't have to. It's on you. Again, you got to talk to yourself. Man in the mirror, whatever it is that you need to do to figure it out. Why do I feel this way? Why does it upset me that she has a big bum that she didn't pay for? That it's just natural. I don't know. Not my problem. If you don't like it, don't look at it, because it's going to be here. Why am I upset that she has a natural tan and that she actually does tan in the summer? Her skin gets darker. I don't know what to tell you.
I hope that this isn't the last time that we have a conversation like this.
Oh, Brie, we talked about this already. We're in this. So we got to figure out what the schedule looks like. We got to, we have to continue the dialogue, but you and me, we're here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, being able to sit here and listen to you, and it's not just me, it's everybody that's on here. And then, there are people that are not going to watch this live, but it is the work.
Yeah. And let's get to work. Let's not be afraid. Let's get to work, honestly. And let's start this year with this election. Like, let's play no games, guys, because the enemy is active. So let's arm, like, Avengers, whatever we need to do. Let's rally. Okay. You might have to put on your Captain Marvel outfit. I'll join you. You tell me what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? I might need to do a couple of sit-ups, Brie. It's all good. You'll tell me what I need to do, but I'm here. I'm ready. And that's what we're looking for. It's like, let's lock arms. Let's do this together. Let's do this together. Let's show up, right? In the same way, like, you know, Black Panther and everybody else from Wakanda pulled up. Captain Marvel pulled up. You know what I'm saying? Pull up. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got work to do. So let's start.
Let's start. Okay. So we'll talk
right.
and figure out what that looks like and
Okay.
how we keep going. But let's go.
Perfect.
There was already people when I posted before that were like, will there be more of these? So here we go.
Here we go.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time and using your just beautiful words and sharing your mind and heart. I really, really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And thank you for your platform. Let's keep this going. It can't be one and done. And like, again, let's challenge the people around us, right? It can't just be us.
Yeah. Yeah. You got it. Let's do it.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Thank you
Bye.
for joining.
Thank you. Bye.